Hello, my dudes. How are we doing on this fine Wednesday afternoon? I would first like to apologize for how late this video is. I ended up having to refilm it 3 times because I was upset with how it turned out every single time. But anyways, this week I bring you a video explaining all of my favorite songs, artists, and albums. I'm always talking about the songs I listen to like it's my grocery list, so many of you have been demanding that I make a playlist video. So ladies and gents, dinner is officially served. Now, as you'll soon see, I listen mostly to 80s music, but my music preferences have not always been as such. The first song I can even remember listening to was Roxanne by The Police. I would jump around in my diaper to that song, and I still do, but minus the diaper, obviously. When I was in grade 2, my favorite artist was Taylor Swift, and I would have intense carpool karaoke sessions to her music. And then for the next 5 years, my playlists were 80% modern pop songs and 20% 80s music. Enter the indie music apocalypse. I was in middle school at this point, and my playlists consisted of The Growlers, Angus and Julia Stone, The Arctic Monkeys, The Neighborhood, Tame Impala, Florence and the Machine, The Strokes, the list goes on and on. High school came sprinting around the corner and slapped me right in the face. My favorite band was Tame Impala. And then grade 12 came in and things suddenly were turned on their heads. I lost my mind and now all I listen to is 80s music. Now don't get me wrong, I still do love a good indie song. I honestly prefer to listen to that type of music while I'm studying instead of disco music, but I'd say at this point I gravitate more to 70s and 80s music. I also want to quickly mention that this video is in no way me pooping all over modern pop music and whining that I was born in the wrong generation, because that is an incredibly stupid statement. Listening to 80s music, or indie music for that matter, does not make you special in any way, because at least 60% of the human population does that too. Yes, music has changed since then, but that doesn't mean it's bad. There are still talented artists out there, you just have to know where to look, but that's a topic for another time. Anyways, I'm gonna start with my favorite artists. For each person I mention, their songs I like will be listed in the description box and in a Spotify playlist linked below. Yes, I finally figured out how to use Spotify. Where's my gold star? First up, we have Bonnie Tyler. Where do I even begin with this woman? I belt out Total Eclipse of the Heart like a good 5 times per week when I'm home alone. The best way to describe a Bonnie Tyler song is overly dramatic singing with incredibly intense percussion in the background. I can only imagine some intimidating old soul sitting behind a set of drums and going insane on his solo. You can hear the madness through the earphones. Now, I have to admit, I definitely have to pick and choose her songs. They don't all float my boat, but when I find one that I like, it's something else. Next up, we have the Bee Gees. The first song I ever listened to by them was Staying Alive, like most people have since it is their most popular song. And then I discovered all their other songs and I just couldn't stop dancing. Everything about them screams the 80s. I mean, what the freak is up with those pants? They're just screaming so much information at me right now. And the hair. Where can I grow Barry Gibb's majestic mane? I want one. But all in all, their songs are incredible. Number 3. Now, before we begin this next one, let me just say in the most respectful way possible, it's Britney Bitch. Now, I'm gonna admit, when I was younger, I didn't really like Miss Britney Spears that much, but once you dance to Hit Me Baby One More Time a good 7 times on Just Dance, the lines become quite blurred and suddenly her songs are on your playlist. But that's not her only good song. Toxic, Oops, I Did It Again, and You Drive Me Crazy are incredibly sassy songs that make you not want to hold the door open for anyone. Now, real talk here, David Bowie is someone I have a lot of respect for. Aside from the fact that his songs are amazing, the man is a complete artistic and creative genius. For example, the last album he released right before his death, Black Star, actually referenced the fact that he was dying and all his accompanying fears, which, first of all, I can't even imagine how hard that must have been to put into words, and second of all, to make it into actually good music is beyond me. But we're getting really deep here, so let's backtrack a bit. The first David Bowie song I heard was Space Oddity, and once I learned the lyrics, you best believe I screamed it at the top of my lungs. Let's Dance is also incredible. The guitar riff, oh my god, that really gets me going. On to the other David now. Now, I mentioned David Byrne in my last video, and I'm gonna mention him here again. Here's the thing about Mr. David Byrne. The man is strange. Very strange. In one of his songs, he was literally talking about cockroaches and elephants, and I didn't know what was going on. But that doesn't take away from the fact that his songs are amazing. I actually got a chance to sit down and listen to his latest album, American Utopia, the other day, and again, it was strange, but it was really groovy. So if you're into weird stuff like that, definitely go check him out. And of course, I had to get the big suit moment. I mean, who did you think I was? Next, we have Elton John. Elton John is one of those singers whose songs get better the more you listen to them. At least that was my experience. The first time I listened to Tiny Dancer, I was like, what is this? Where did it come from and how do we stop it? But then I listened to it a dozen more times and it grew on me, and now I'm here and I own 3 of his vinyls, so. Actually, on that note, some old man got mad at me that I called a long play record a vinyl in my last video, so this is for you. Vinyl, 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 vinyl. Moral of the story is, listen to Elton John or else a crocodile will jump out of your toilet and take a chunk out of your behind the next time you decide to go number 2. Now we're on to Fleetwood Mac, and this is gonna be quite the long story, so strap in. Now, both of my parents are really big Fleetwood Mac fans. They have every CD they ever released, and my mom has the habit of blasting their music while making dinner. And for the longest time, I hated it. I didn't understand how they could even stand their music. To me, it sounded like the Addams Family singing off-brand country music. Well, how I was wrong on that one. I remember one day I accidentally clicked on a Fleetwood Mac playlist on YouTube and Rhiannon started playing, and I just sat there in shock for a good 20 minutes. I had been bamboozled by my own hand. How does one even do that? Naturally, I listened to all their songs in one sitting, almost started a Stevie Nicks fan page twice, and then proceeded to get mad at her for kicking Lindsey Buckingham out of the band. Yes, Stevie, I'm still very salty about that. But anyways, that's getting off topic. If you want some good ones to get you started, Rhiannon and The Chain are 2 of their most iconic and famous songs ever, but literally every song they've ever released is impeccable and worth a listen. George Michael. Okay, I'm not gonna say much about him because I feel like a kazoo and a cappella cover of Careless Whisperer will just about get the job done. I'm never gonna dance again. Guilty feet, I've got no rhythm. It's easy to pretend. I know you're not a fool. Should've known better than to cheat a friend. They waste the chance that I've been given. So I'm never gonna dance again the way I danced with you. Next we have Little Miss Gwen Stefani. This woman is the reason why I know how to spell bananas. But in all seriousness, I've always loved her songs. I wish I could live inside her albums, if that makes sense. I feel like that would be a very colorful time. Also, I think she might have discovered the secret to backwards aging because I have yet to see one wrinkle on that woman's face. Olay is shook and Revlon is sculpt. Ladies and gents, we have reached Madonna. I don't care what you have to say about anything, but we must agree on the fact that the whole Papa Don't Preach music video outfit was and forever will be iconic. But on a whole nother note, her songs are incredibly groovy and pleasant to listen to. They're lighthearted, which is something I think the internet is in desperate need of right now. Seriously, where is Michelle Phan when we need her? Okay, everybody, let's say it together. Hee hee! The first Michael Jackson song I listened to was Smooth Criminal. It took me 10 years, yes, an actual decade, to figure out that he was saying Annie, are you okay? And it wasn't just some other Michael Jackson grunt. Also, when Billie Jean comes on, I have a mandatory dance party. I kid you not, when that song starts playing, I go crazy and slightly stupid. It's a hazard listening to that song in class, or in public for that matter, because I will get up and wreak havoc with my impeccable dancing. Then we're on to Paula Abdul. I always knew her as the short lady on American Idol who always gets mad at Simon Cowell. And then I listened to her songs and was like, oh wait, the girl can sing. And dance for that matter. I would totally try to replicate her dance moves, but I'm not going to because we don't have time for that. And no, it's not because I'm a terrible dancer. I mean, the one thing you can gather from this video is how graceful I am. I do not have 2 left feet. I have 5 right ones. Wait, is it a bird? Is it a plane? No, it's Purple Rain. You know, my mother actually introduced me to Prince a couple of years back, and I immediately knew what the hell was up. His singing, A1, and his outfit's iconic. I want that blue cloud suit so badly. It probably costs like $10 billion, but whatever. Also, every live performance he ever gave was way too fabulous for us mortal beings. Ladies and gents, we have reached the one and only Queen. Now, I think it's pretty obvious that I love Queen. I mean, my mother and I's performance of Bohemian Rhapsody a couple videos back says enough. Can we all collectively agree to never let belting out Bohemian Rhapsody at the top of your lungs go out of style? My children will be alphabetized in order to be able to learn the lyrics to that song, okay? And if they can't, they will get mud on their faces. What a big disgrace that would be. Now, I've already talked about Fleetwood Mac extensively, and Stevie is the lead singer of that group, so I'll just keep this short and sweet. All of her songs are really good and worth your listen, especially Edge of 17. I mean, I haven't the faintest clue on what that song is about, but it's so intense and I love it so much. Also, her outfits are really cool. They might not be cute, but they're really up my strange outfit alley, and I really like them, so there's that too. And finally, we have by far the weirdest band ever, the Talking Heads. Remember when I rambled about David Byrne? Well, he's the lead singer of the Talking Heads, and you can definitely say that his weird factor is multiplied by 10 in this band. Every music video they released leaves you with more questions than answered ones, but hey, I'm not complaining because their songs are incredible. Burning Down the House makes me want to actually burn down my house. Take Me to the River makes me want to cannonball into a lake, and Psycho Killer makes me want to kill someone. What? Moral of the story is this band is incredible. I'll admit it takes some time to get used to their songs and all their antics, but it's very worthwhile because their songs are incredibly dynamic and creative. Now on to the honorable mentions. These are artists and groups who I have in my playlist, but I've either 1, grown out of, or 2, don't really listen to that often. Okay, I know I'm gonna get a lot of flack for this, but when Billie first started out, I was all in. I really enjoyed all her songs, but somewhere along the way, I felt kind of exhausted by the whole Billie Eilish stick, if that makes sense. I mean, her new album buttered my egg roll for like 2 minutes before I got past the hype, but I know that she's still insanely talented because she wouldn't have gotten so popular if she wasn't, so take my opinion with several grains of salt. That being said, I haven't completely given up on her. I still really do enjoy When I Was Older and Bury a Friend. They're really dark and not your typical sappy love songs, and I like that. Oh man, am I scared of the Twitter stans right now. I'm one of the few people who appreciates Lorde more than Billie Eilish, and I mean that with no ill intent towards Billie. It's simply my personal preference. I just find her lyrics very creative and her beats more dynamic than Billie's. I mean, when I shave my head, and yes, it will happen, I will blast Buzzcut season all the time, so be prepared for that. But aside from that, all of her songs so far are objectively intricate and enthralling. I just included this one because Roxanne is amazing, and you can fight me on that one. We can all square up in the comment section if you want to. These last 3 bands I decided to slap on here because I realized I forgot to film a B-roll, so please be entertained by this slideshow. Okay, so here's my thing with Tame Impala. I've been thinking about this for a while, and I had finally come to the conclusion that, in my opinion, they are the best thing we have currently after 80s music, and I appreciate the fact that they are trying to replicate that sound. However, I think it's impossible to ever be able to completely emulate that sound because the nostalgia itself can't be manufactured. But once again, I really have no idea what I'm talking about, and I don't want to anger the entire music community, so I'll just leave it at that. I have no issue with Earth, Wind, and Fire, but they're just in this section because I ordered a best of Earth, Wind, and Fire vinyl off of Amazon a couple weeks ago, and I was especially excited because it meant that I would be able to blast Boogie Wonderland at max volume and have an insane dance party. But lo and behold, the vinyl arrives, and there is one big scratch on the section of the vinyl that plays Boogie Wonderland. My disappointment through the roof. My anger, a level 10 on the Richter scale. But other than that, I have no bones to pick with this group. All their songs are great, and I love them. And finally, we have Portugal the Man. I put this here because I went through a phase where, I kid you not, the only thing I listened to was their Woodstock album. I kind of overplayed it, which is a shame because the song Noise Pollution was an incredible song, but now that's all it is, noise pollution, so I'm gonna give it a bit of a break. This final section are artists or groups who have made one song that I just can't shake off. Ready? Because things are about to go very fast. 1. I Was Made for Loving You by Kiss. Number 2. Eye of the Tiger by Survivor. Number 3. Jolene by Dolly Parton. Number 4. Hotel California by the Eagles. Number 5. I Will Survive by Gloria Gaynor. That's a very good song. Number 6. American Woman by Lenny Kravitz. And number 7. Somebody's Watching Me by Rockwell. Well, wasn't that a doozy? This was actually a very difficult video to make because I think you can tell how many wigs I had to order off of Amazon to just do this, so I truly hope you enjoyed it. I bid you all farewell, I love you so much, and I'll see you in the next one.